back to Slashback Cinema, the podcast where we dig up the goriest, weirdest, and most ridiculous horror films of the late 70s and 80s. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Shawnee. Today we're bringing balloons, party hats, and a birthday cake you probably shouldn't eat.
Because we're talking about a 1981 slasher that will keep you guessing until the final scene. We've got shish kebabs, weight benches, and the most slasherific birthday party ever committed to film.
Not since Sleepaway Camp have we watched an ending so bonkers you had to rewind the tape just to be sure you didn't hallucinate it. So put on your party hat, make a wish, and blow out your candles, because Slashback Cinema is diving into Happy Birthday to Me.
Indeed. Man, and it's kind of timely as I've got a birthday coming up here towards the end of the month. You've just wrapped up a milestone birthday. Is it milestone once you're over 50? Maybe not.
You're old as a stone and You've seen many miles. It's a milestone.
That's true. Talk to me about this film. I've never heard of this movie until you said, let's watch it.
Yeah, I had never heard of it either. And then I was looking at lists of rankings of 80s films, and I was surprised this movie came up on several lists. And I thought, wow, it's weird that, there's a lot of horror movies we've never seen. There's not a lot of horror movies I've never heard of. So I thought, let's give this a shot and see what this is all about. I knew nothing about it going into it. The only thing you can kind of surmise is even by 81, they were already exhausting the idea of horror movies built around some annual event. In the 70s, they were already doing Christmas-themed horror movies, and then Halloween.
Yeah, don't open until Christmas.
Yes. Yeah, we did a whole series of Christmas-themed ones last December. And then there's My Bloody Valentine, and then, of course, Halloween. And so they're spinning off, Arbor Day. They're running out of holidays for these movies. So I felt already by 81, they're okay, what's left? Birthdays? Sure.
Right. I feel like I read something somewhere where they're yeah, well, everybody's got a birthday, so we'll really hook them in with this one. I'm wow, that is some low effort marketing right there.
It feels like by 81, they were running out of holidays. But that's how big this genre was. And people just latched onto this idea, I think, since Halloween. It's funny to me that people thought, the thing that what the public loved about Halloween was that it took place on a holiday. This is classic Hollywood thinking. The thing about the movie that made it great was it takes place in October around a beloved holiday. And so now we're just going to wear out every single possible holiday. And that's how you get Happy Birthday to Me. So it's interesting to me. I know we haven't gone over the plot yet. I feel like the character's birthday is not the most significant part of the plot.
No. Yeah.
Is her birthday even that important? I feel like only in the last 10 minutes does her birthday come up. Am I missing something?
I don't think you are. I feel like it reeks of the odor of rewritten scripts and
Yes.
meddling producer fingers.
Yes.
Why this was called this in the first place.
Right. So there's a bunch of film lore related to that we'll have to get back to. But why don't we start with that plot overview?
Yeah. So basically, it's set at this wealthy prep school, and there's this clique. They keep being referred to as the top 10 or whatever. So these are the elite of the elites. Well, they all start turning up dead in bizarre and gruesome ways, and all eyes turn to the newest member, this girl Ginny, who's a troubled teen with a dark past, and her birthday is on the horizon. So the twists keep piling on until you get to that final infamous birthday scene, and it really delivers one of the wildest endings perhaps in slasher era, except for Sleepaway Camp, as we mentioned in the intro. So I'm just going to end it there. They call it a slasher film, although, as we've discussed in the past, this kind of falls into that category of the Gaio whodunit style. Feels like European influenced kind of early 80s, late 70s genre. The murders are happening, but you're trying to figure out who's responsible for these shenanigans.
I did genuinely spend the entire movie going, wait, is that guy the killer? Is she the killer? And what's so weird about this movie is even when they show you halfway through the movie, one of the main characters commit the murder, you're still wait, are they the murderer?
Oh my God. Yeah.
It was so confusing.
So confusing.
Even when you see the main character stab someone to death, it's not clear they're the murderer. That's how bonkers off the wall this movie is. I felt like the last 5 minutes of this movie, I watched it 3 times to try to figure out, wait, what is the motivation for the killing and why is this all happening?
Yeah, I got to the ending and right as in the last maybe 8 minutes, the family all came in the house as I was watching it on the couch, like, and all the commotion. I got slightly distracted, and then I was like, "What the hell is going on? Like, what?" So I had to wait till everybody left and rewatch it, and then I was still like, "What?"
So you gave us this rough plot overview. It's about this group called the Top 10. I spent part of the movie trying to figure out, are they called the Top 10 because they're the most popular kids in school, or are they getting the best grades? And it seems like both. Like, it seems like they're the smartest kids and the most popular kids. Did you get that?
I guess, but then you've got that weird dude. What is it? Alfred? Like he's like the weird kid with the rat. Like,
Yes.
how'd he get involved with the top 10? Like, he does not seem like he's one
Because
of
he's,
the
yeah,
cool kids.
right. Because he's the smart one. Maybe it's like a blending.
Sure, but just because you're smart, you wouldn't be hanging out with the popular kids, as
Yeah.
you and I were, witness firsthand in our middle school, high school
I don't know
years.
what you're talking about.
It didn't get more prestigious. We called ourselves the top two, actually.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the thing about this movie I thought you might get a kick out of are the posters for the movie.
Oh, yes, we should talk about the poster. It's got your type at the top, "Happy Birthday to Me," and then it features a skewer stick full of delicious meats and vegetables being shoved towards a man's head and mouth, open mouth. And I believe the tagline was, "John will never eat shish kebab again."
Yes.
Um, what is perplexing is there was no one named John in this movie, and the face on the actual cover art, he wasn't in the movie either. Like, or is he a different guy? Like, I was like, what the hell am I looking at?
And then there's like sub taglines underneath of that. It says, John will never eat shish kebab again. And then underneath of that, Stephen will never ride a motorcycle again. Greg will never lift weights again. It basically is the checklist of how everyone dies in this movie.
Apparently, like, the directors were not a fan of this poster or how it was marketed at all, but the marketing team apparently just ran with it.
But I would argue it was a good campaign because the tagline of this movie is 6 of the most bizarre murders you will ever see. Okay, so we'll come back to whether or not we think those are the most bizarre murders we've ever seen. But I do feel like that is a selling point for this movie. Like, just saying you have never seen people die the way you're about to see people die. I feel like there's a pretty good audience in 81 to go, all right, I'll sign up for that.
Right.
So I feel like the marketing people knew what they were up to, even if they had never seen the movie that they were marketing.
That's good perspective there. I didn't see the movie poster before I watched it. I didn't know anything about it. And then we got to that particular scene.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sort of jumping ahead, but basically Jenny invites her friend over. So she's like, "Let's exit this dance early. Want to come back to my place? I'll make you a midnight snack." And I thought that was just like code for making out.
Right.
But no, Jenny does come back, to in front of the roaring fire where they've laid out pillows. He's relaxing. They're having wine. And the midnight snack, Jenny goes all out. She's like prepared meat stick and vegetable skewers, and I'm like, wow, Jenny, she must be Italian. Like, this is I don't know, an Italian woman would prepare midnight snacks.
Yes, it's an entire meal.
She does proceed to take the skewer stick and ram it through the back of her friend's open mouth, and that's how she kills him.
Would that actually kill you? I was confused. Why can't you just reach out and pull it out? I mean, I understand you poke the back of someone's neck. That's a very painful way to go. Is she poking into his brain? How exactly is he dying? Did she sever some artery back there?
Maybe she got the spinal cord. Yeah, I had the same thought. I'm like, this is what this guy's dying from? Like a single
shish kebab.
skewer? Shish kebab.
Yes. This is my biggest problem with this scene. It's really, I have a dislike of shish kebab as a dish.
Mm.
And tell me what you think about this. In my experience, when you're taking meat and vegetables and putting them on a skewer, you're putting things on the skewer that don't all cook at the same temperature. And so half of the skewer is completely charred because you've got to get the meat up to a certain temperature so you don't give your guests some kind of poison. But then vegetables, you're just kind of heating up. And so I never thought of shish kebab as a food that, like, I always end up when I'm cooking it, I end up pulling everything off the skewers and just separating out into the different categories of food.
So you do the meat skewers, and then you do veggie skewers, and
That's
then it's
right.
a plate of yes, yes. This is the right way to do it, but it's not as like artful looking for stabbing it through someone's the back of their neck. So you
Right.
want the mixed skewer, but
Yeah, it's a better look.
and maybe he did die from salmonella poisoning. You never know. Like
He died awfully quickly.
that could have been what happened. Undercooked chicken.
Yeah, that could have been a warning.
Right.
I want to give credit to the ending scene of this movie.
The ending is a high point, but also a low point.
It was the best of times, it was the worst of times,
Yes.
is what you're saying.
Yes.
It was Dickensian. All right. Now, why do you consider that both a high and low point?
Well, are we going right to the ending? We're skipping all the other scenes. We're just going right there.
All right. Yeah, let's hold on. Okay, I like your self-control. So do you have any other lore that you would want to talk about or that stood out to you?
In the film, there is this bridge that is prominently featured, and apparently it's why they shot in New York, in Phoenix, New York, because there was one of those old school drawbridges. There aren't many of them left, but it's kind of would be over the canal. In a scene, it happens a few times, but the first time you see that bridge, they're sort of coming out of the pub, and they decide they're gonna like do this thing that they do for fun every night after they've been drinking, where they drive their cars over the bridge before it gets too far, and one of them eventually has to chicken out because the gap's too big. But apparently they wrecked like 15 cars over this bridge. Like the stunt driver broke both of his ankles. Like
Yeah.
there was some serious ass carnage. Apparently the filmmakers were obsessed with Dukes of Hazzards because like this this whole sequence was out of Dukes of Hazzard. From even you see this Trans Am launch the jump, and you're like, wow, that is the angle looks all wrong. And then on film, I don't know why they didn't cut away,
Yeah.
but you see the whole front end of this car completely get demolished. And then the next scene they cut to, they're driving away, laughing. Like,
Yeah, so you saw the front of the car get ripped to shreds. That's the thing about those front heavy cars is, yeah, when he went over, he looked like, wow, his front end is dipping way too quickly to make this jump. This movie cost $3.5 million, whereas other slashers in this time period were like 100,000, 200,000.
right.
And
And
it
a
seems to
budget.
me the whole budget is this drawbridge. A guy jumps it on a motorcycle. A guy jumps it with, really heavy. Was it a Trans Am? What car was it?
Yeah,
you just
Trans
said?
Am. I think there was a Corvette. There was a Volkswagen Rabbit. I don't know if that one made the jump. I was like, oh, that's a weird one to throw on the mix, but okay.
Well, they cared about was the Volkswagen a Rabbit? Was that diesel back then?
That was gas, and that was not a GTI, and I owned one of those. So, I think they show it spin, or you hear it audibly spinning wheels, like burning out. That would not have happened in an actual Rabbit.
Was that the car? You always you have this great story about a time that was it you went fishing and then you left a fish in the car. I always
Oh
picture it
no,
being that car.
oh no, that was a Fiat that we had that my mom went to the grocery store, and one of those sausages rolled out under a seat somewhere on a hot summer day, and we went away and came back, and that car never smelled quite right.
Did you just burn the car to the ground?
I think that's what happened. Actually,
Get the insurance money?
it was used in this film.
That's the car.
It got wrecked on one of the bridges.
And then there's this other cool bridge scene. It's like a flashback where Ginny, you find out like how her mother died, and then spoiler alert, how Ginny dies. It took me a while to figure out. Is her mother also goes to jump the bridge. It's kind of funny that all the people that live in this town are obsessed with jumping this bridge. There's no gates that come down. Like there's no warnings. There's no police around because every night someone's jumping the bridge, and her mother goes to jump the bridge, but the bridge is lifted too high, and now her car is stuck so that the front end is on one end of the bridge and the back end's on the other. And then it just keeps lifting, and then the car falls in.
Yeah.
And that's how Ginny's mother bites it. Now, Ginny is in the car too. This is the part that threw me off to the point where I had to go online just to have someone online explain to me what I was looking at. The car hits the water, starts to sink.
Right.
Ginny's mom saves her. She rolls down I don't know why Ginny's mom can't get out of the car too, but Ginny's mom rolls down the window and Ginny swims away. But did you get this? Then when she swims above the water, she like gets hit in the head with a boat or something.
I was watching that and I was like, is that what they're implying? Like,
Yeah.
it seems like it, but I don't know.
I didn't know what was going on. So apparently she was like either killed or she was in a coma. And then she has this brain work done that kind of like brings her back to life. So I thought, are these murders all in her head? Or is she committing them like she has a memory lapse and she's got like a split personality?
Right. Yeah.
And then the movie like implies she has like an evil twin sister. And then I thought the movie was going to be about her evil mother coming back from the grave. There are so many possible ways this movie could have ended. And I feel like this movie went with the least plausible version of any one of those endings.
Yeah, they're like, all that other stuff you watched for the last hour and a half.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're just gonna throw that out.
Right. So every single scene is, wait, is he the murderer? Is she the murderer? Are they the murderer?
So if you remember from the very first scene, the very first murder, essentially this woman gets attacked by this mysterious leather gloved murderer when she gets into her car.
Right.
And she manages to get away. She plays dead. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a smart movie. Like, she gets away and then comes around the corner to see someone who she obviously recognizes. And the only clue they're throwing you is like this. You see this scarf and you're like, oh, I'm going to be watching for the scarf. Well, you start watching and then the scarf is everywhere. Everyone's wearing the scarf. And these the black gloves with the white sneakers. And you're like, oh, it's definitely him. And then the next person. Yeah.
Right. So, every single character in this movie wears black gloves. Every man and woman in the movie has a reason to wear black gloves at one point or another. So it's all clues without any buildup. Now, at this point, our audience is dying to find out what the hell happens at the end of this movie.
Yeah, skip the scenes. Just go to the ending.
But before we get there, do you want to talk about favorite scenes? Because the ending might be on our list. Well, I think we should each talk about one favorite death, because I have one.
Okay, we covered the shish kebab, which that was on my list. So what do you got for deaths?
My favorite death in this movie was the weight bench death. Because that seems like, unlike shish kebab, I've actually thought about, you're laying on a weight bench, and what happens if that giant weight gives out? Are you going to decapitate yourself?
Give props out to your dad here, because I remember years ago you shared a story when your dad was into weightlifting. Mm-hmm. Apparently, one time he stacked his bar a little bit too heavy,
and he needed a spotter to grab the bar. Yes, it's funny that you remember that.
I do remember, and it's been stuck in my head all these years. Like, oh God, gotta get the spotter. I don't want to end up like Shawnee's dad.
Yeah, but the thing is, my dad ended up fine. He's still with us to this day.
Right. He was not murdered by his weight bench.
So, but in this movie, the killer, I thought, does this really funny thing. Slowly removes the I don't know, the anchors or the part of when you put
like the rack that holds the bar. Yeah.
I like that the killer slowly pulls it away. At first, it's almost like a practical joke. It's like, his buddy is just kind of screwing with him, but the guy's like holding the weight, going, "What are you doing? I can't hold it anymore."
Yeah, move it back. What are you doing?
What are you doing? Come on, put him back. Come on. Quit screwing around. Come on, please put him back.
And then what I thought was going to happen was the killer was just going to walk away and let this guy just eventually his arms give out and he decapitates himself. But the killer actually comes up with, I thought, a much more insane, psychotic thing to do to make this guy's arms go out so that he drops the weight bar on himself. He takes a giant weight, looks like, I don't know what, 40-pounder, and then he walks it over to the guy's crotch who's laying on the bench and just lets it go so that the weight hits his crotch, and then the guy goes, ah, and then he drops the bar, and then it squishes his little head.
I also appreciated seeing the 1980s weights. Like, you don't see those like plastic sand-filled weights anymore. Like, that was very, very 80s with even like the bar ends.
Right.
His outfit, that was a quintessential 80s scene. I agree. That was a pretty creative little death. Although the amount of blood that was involved from a bar coming down on you, like
Wait, do you think there was not enough or too much? What are you saying?
I don't know that you would like get instantly squished like in the
right.
If we're really being sticklers here for what would have been the outcome of the bar coming down, I thought it was a little bit too much blood.
Yes,
and a slasher film. Oh my.
Yeah. Also, if you're holding a bar and the guy has pulled away the rack, can't you just kind of like tilt to one side or the other and kind of push it off you? Do you have to hold it directly above your neck until you collapse?
I know they like set it up so it came right down on his neck. So you know.
So I would say that was my favorite because of like the effort and the planning and the weirdness of it.
The one thing I could not figure out was the relationship. Like, they start out as this clique and these friends, and they seem to have some established dynamics, and there's couples that are dating, but then as the movie progresses, it's like Ginny's just like hooking up with everybody and luring them to their death.
Right.
They didn't really sell it to me as like this was believable, like the relationship or the dynamic. Clearly they're under stress because their friends are dying or whatever. But then the way the story unfolds, I was just like, what? Like,
Right. It was
don't buy it.
confusing. Yeah, the way they were like kind of making out with each other, I couldn't quite figure out who was dating who in this movie.
Right.
Yeah, that was weird. What I thought you were going to say is, what was up with Ginny's relationship with her therapist? Did that
Yeah.
seem weird to you? That was,
Yeah,
was that Glenn Ford?
That was Glenn Ford. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, because he's like, the first time he came on scene, I didn't know this guy. Like, clearly he was a famous actor with who was quite successful, but he's kind of ahead of or before our time.
Right.
And he shows up on screen where he's like unbuttoned down to the middle part, and he's like, yeah, his relationship with her was like he's staying at her house, keeping an eye on her. I'm like, this is one creepy motherfucker. And
Yeah, at one point, like he puts his hand on her shoulder and Ginny kisses his hand. And I was like, oh, what's going on there? There's so many moments in this movie that just, they don't have any payoff, but they just make you uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah.
And that's, and her relationship with her therapist seems like another one.
you get to the end, and what they claim happens is, I'm still unclear on like the threads, but it sounds like the other woman, her sister. Should we back up and just set up the whole scene, like
go for
before
it.
we get into this? No, you do it. You're better at framing this all up, and then we'll get right to this part. Okay.
So you've got this birthday party that I was alluding to earlier, where Ginny is walks into the room with a birthday cake, and she's got all of her dead friends. And then that's when her dad comes home. There's also this one girl whose head is down, so you don't know who that is. You'll find out in a little bit. So then her dad comes in and starts talking to who he thinks is his daughter, Ginny. But then his daughter, Ginny, takes out a knife and slashes the dad's throat. And you're like, oh my God, it's been Ginny the whole time. She's the murderer. And then the girl whose head is on the table, she looks up, and that's Ginny. And you're like, wait, does Ginny have a twin? Is Ginny fighting with her, like, is she split in half?
Right. This is her evil twin sister. Like, one of those ones. You're like, oh, that's what's happening here. And then.
So then Ginny starts wrestling with Ginny, and the murderer, Ginny, her mask comes off. And it turns out that the real Ginny was actually sitting at the table the whole time. And the murderer, the entire movie, was somebody dressing in a Ginny mask.
Like, zoinks.
Then this can only be one person. Hank!
Oh, dag nabbit!
And that was, what was that girl's name? I totally lost track of who these
Was it
people
like
are.
Pam or something?
Anne is her name.
Anne.
So Anne has her Ginny mask pulled off.
So Mission Impossible link, like you were
Yes.
saying, yes.
And then Anne, the actual killer, who's been wearing a Ginny mask the whole movie or parts of the movie, whenever you see Ginny, you think do a murder, explains this I rewound it twice and I still couldn't 100% get it. Ginny's mom was sleeping with Anne's dad.
Yes.
And then I get the impression that Anne was just pissed off about that.
Yeah, that was unclear. Like, was this like years ago? Did this recently happen? And she's sort of just calling her half sister? Like,
That should be the ending of the movie. But then Ginny is fighting with Anne. Anne is the actual murderer. They wrestle with a knife, and then Anne gets stabbed and then just falls down dead. So Ginny is standing there with a room full of dead bodies. She is not responsible for any of these deaths. And then the police detective walks into the house, sees Ginny surrounded by these dead bodies. Ginny has in fact stabbed Anne in this wrestling match. And then the movie ends. Presumably Ginny is now going to prison.
It's like, what have you done?
Right. And then it ends. And you're like, wait, Ginny's innocent. Can Ginny explain what's happened here? Do you think she's going to get away? I feel like, can't Ginny just hold up the mask of her own face and say, look, this girl did all this. The proof is the mask that she was wearing.
That's a good point. Yeah. That was a lot for our listeners to take in. It was a lot to watch multiple times and we barely processed it. So, this whole scene sort of just throws away or like as a complete 180 from the rest of the film to the point of
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't know, at that point. Yeah.
And so I like the fact that our episode is out of order because this movie is out of order. So where the fuck was I? I was trying to figure out where red
head injuries, red herrings.
All right, good.
I got a brain injury from watching this movie.
So the people who made the movie decided that Melissa Sue Anderson shouldn't be the murderer,
Right.
Because
bad for her image.
Yes, and she said she's so sweet and kind. that they come up with this other cockamamie ending out of nowhere, and that's why nothing is set up. But it feels like the way the movie is structured, anybody could have been the killer in the end, because
Oh, yeah.
every character
Right.
has motive, every character acts bizarre. So you want to get to stabby scores?
Let's do it. What do you got?
All right, it's this movie, boy, I was kind of charmed by how zany it was. There's some movies we watch where I don't enjoy actually the experience of watching the movie. And this movie wasn't like that. I was more like trying to understand how it came together. And it turned out the people who made the movie were also trying to figure out how this all came together.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I feel like I'm going to give this 3 stabbies, which I feel like might be a little high. But if somebody wanted to watch like a bonkers 80s movie, I would say first watch Sleepaway Camp. And if you like that bonkers ending, here's another movie with a bonkers ending, and it would be Happy Birthday to Me.
I can sense the generosity of your stabby score coming through in your review. I too probably had. Oh, go
Can
ahead.
I also say,
yes,
definitely has some weird deaths. So we'd even talk about the motorcycle death. So there's some weird ways that people die. The movie does have that going for it.
creative kills. Yep.
Yes, it does have creative kills.
You know, honestly, I wish that the level of detail and scrutiny that they applied to the neurosurgeon, a real neurosurgeon coming on the set to perform brain surgery to make it seem authentic, they had applied that rigor to the script and the writing of this film.
Yes.
Because, boy, yeah, as we just outlined, this sucker really does go off the rails. I mean, yeah, some creative kills. Shish Kebab.
Oh, the acting. Acting's not bad. Want to
Yeah,
point that
some
out?
strong acting. I would love to see this movie redone as Ginny being possessed by the demonic spirit of her mom.
Yes.
I feel like that would have been more of a home run, but you get to the end and it's like this Scooby-Doo, you meddling teenagers. There was some good stuff, but overall, like the ending kind of blew this one for me.
Didn't stick the landing.
It didn't stick the landing. What didn't even land? Like I feel like it blew up mid-flight, and there was pieces of this movie laying everywhere.
And so I didn't hear. Wait, I interrupted you. What was the actual number?
The actual stabby score for this one, I'm feeling generous as well today, Shawnee. I'm giving this one 2.5 out of 5 stabs.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Yes. So I feel like, because I gave it 3, I feel like you were going to give it 2. And then I said 3, and you're like, all right, fine, I'll split the difference.
No, it's written in my notes. I had 2.5. I was not influenced by the conversation. So
One thing you said I 100% agree with. I watched most of the movie thinking this could be remade as a really good contemporary movie. Like, I feel like there's enough here about the high school and the birthday party that none of your friends came to and the trauma that you had with your mom.
right, yeah, it's got some good bones. Yeah.
Right. I meant to actually share this at the very beginning of the episode. I don't know if this is going to make it in. We got our water bill and it doubled from a month ago. So I figured out, or Kim figured out, that the reason that's happened is because our toilet is running. So it's just constantly refilling. So take off the back. I'm looking in there.
Oh,
and
I
I'm trying
just
to
did this. Yep.
So I figured out that I needed a new flapper.
Yes. Did you buy the right size flapper? Because I just did this and bought the wrong fucking flapper.
Okay. So here's the thing. I went to the store and I'm carrying the flapper with me.
Oh, smart.
And every single flapper that is listed says Universal.
Yes.
It's everyone.
I bought the Universal flapper kit and it was not Universal.
Okay. So when that happened, I immediately thought of This Old Haunted House, our regular segment. Because I thought, only in houses that were built in the last 70 years can things be called universal. When with these old houses, the word universal just makes your heart sink because you know.
No, it does. You're like, oh, this isn't going to fit. Save that receipt.
Yes, like your doorways are not universal. Your plumbing's not universal. Your electricity's not universal. Nothing in your house is standard or can be, or is any predictable measurement. And so I was just sad. I grabbed one of the universal ones and I thought, okay, am I going to have to like call a company to like 3D print one of these things because this doesn't exist anymore? But it turned out I think I managed to fix it. Knock on wood. We'll see when our next water bill comes in.
Oh, nice. Well, I bought the whole kit because like there's like the arm and the whole like side component thing where you set the height with the floater and like that all worked. And then I got to the flapper. I looked at it and it was like the kit came with Universal, but I needed like this monstrous 3-inch like flapper thing. And so I didn't replace the flapper. I just cleaned it off. I'm like, fuck this. So I put it back together and then now I'm like sitting here and I can hear it like cycling on and off in the other room right now. So yeah.
Right now, it's still doing it. All right. Unlike Happy Birthday to Me, let's bring this in for a landing.
Yes. And this is our universal outro for people listening to the Slashback Cinema. Yeah.
It fits any episode.
Yes. Guaranteed.
That wraps up another trip down memory lane. Hopefully you enjoyed insert movie title here as much as we did.
And if you want to support Slashback Cinema, you can subscribe to our feed in your favorite podcast app and give us a 5-star review. That's right, 5 stars. None of this 3-star bullshit. It helps new people find out about this podcast.
And if you look forward to Slashback each week, check out our merch store at slashbackcinema.com or look on our show notes and click support the show.
And most important, we do want to hear from you, all of our fans. You can email us, you can send us a note, recommend a movie. We love to hear from you, and we'll watch that movie and we'll give you a shout out. You can always reach us at slashbackcinema.com.
Because your suggestions keep the conversation alive.